By the high seas, you actually did it! You won a duel for the ages against Catava himself. Sailors will be singing shanties about your victory for generations to come. But if I've learnt anything from you, duelist, it's best to leave them wanting more. Let's find you a flag and a veil and a fresh start. Leave the rebuilding to those better suited than scoundrels like us. A sombre day when a man has slain his own gods. Tukohama adored, Catava hated, but both Karui gods all the same. You've had quite the journey, and waged quite the war. What do you say, Marauder? After all this, is it finally time to go home? We can set sail for your archipelago the moment you give the word. We'll check in on these fine folk after they've had some time to figure things out. You won the day! But you look more than frazzled, witch. Might be time to bury your head in some forbidden occult books for a while. Or whatever it is you do for fun. I know folks like us aren't suited to rebuilding efforts and honest work. Just say the word and we'll sail on out of here. You look as though you've seen more bloodshed than you care to admit. Maybe it's time for you to step out of the darkness and do some honest pirating and pillaging for a change. What do you say, Shadow? We can check back in on these fine, upstanding folk when they've sorted their business. So, Templar, you've defeated Catava and saved the good people of Oriath and Rayclass, but at what cost? I heard that god of yours is going into self-imposed exile in the frozen south. Helping you sail around searching for innocence sounds more like penance than fun, but it's the least I can do. We're not going to find him, mind you. But it's all about the journey with you folk, not the destination in it. We'll give it a year, then come back and see how these proper citizens are doing. Just say the word and we'll set sail. It's funny, Ranger, that you had to fight across all of Rayclass and Oriath to win the right to finally be left alone. I could do with some peace and quiet myself. Let's just you and me sail on out of here before they put us to work rebuilding. We can always visit once they're done. How's that sound? Just say the word and we'll set sail. The world's saved then, it seems. I never doubted you, Scion. But what will you do now? Somehow I think a woman like you thrives on a challenge. There's a whole world out there and you can go anywhere, do anything. Me and this old ship of mine will take you. Least I can do. What for saving our lives and all? Say the word, and we'll set sail towards the future. I should have never come back here. That Kirak is a mighty convincing salesman. I spent so much of my life voyaging across the briny deep, looting and pillaging. I never thought I'd end up working as a naval officer for the Citizen Vanguard. They're forgiving my pirating crimes in exchange for helping to build this town, as well as providing trade and transport. It'll be a quiet life, but rewarding in its own way. I'd rather be a seafarer than a foot soldier. I'll bring my chest of gems and enough ale to put down 40 men. Time and tide wait for no man. 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 Good tidings to you. Good tidings to you. Good tidings to you. Hail, Godslayer. Hail, Godslayer. Hail, Godslayer. Godslayer, good day. Godslayer. Good day. Godslayer, good day. I'm Captain Lily Roth, and we sail for Rayclass. Better to live in exile than die on this psychotic bonfire of an island. You want to make it out of here? You'd better get on board. But make it quick, 'cause I ain't got time for tears and regrets. Remember, this ain't no charity run. You owe me. Cast off! All right, we're safe for the time being. Now let me introduce myself properly. Lily Roth. Yep, I'm one of those Roths. Some call me smuggler, others pirate. Yet I prefer the sound of nautical entrepreneur. I came up with that one myself. So you come see Lily if you need something, or even if you just fancy a good chat with a lovely lady. Don't think I'd be forgetting that favour you owes me. In fact, now I think of it, there's certainly a way you can be repaying this most considerable debt. You see, those blasted cultists have been plundering the refugee ships trying to escape Oriath, and if not for my incomparable skill as a sea captain, we'd have met the same fate. But now the drowned dead are washing ashore. And they ain't staying dead. There's been a whole lot of blood, sweat and tears getting these few lucky survivors here in one piece. What sort of captain would I be if I let them get ripped apart by walking corpses? Wipe the Twilight Strand clean of those filthy undead bastards and I'll call us even. Might even throw in a little something extra if you can pull it off. A wretched sight. So many drowned Oriathans cast into undeath. You freed them from their torment, and I'm sure they'd be grateful. Here, that little something extra I were talking about. Though the sea takes away, it gives back in greater measure. Yeah, I knew Tarkley, if you catch me drift. He's got no time for his old bunkmate these days, though. Too gaga-eyed over his lost cause of a fishwife Nessa. Time was, Tarkley and I would smuggle all about the coast of Oriath. Oh, good days they was. Sweet with rum, nothing but the wind and salt in our faces, freedom in our hearts, and the law on our tails. But I could tell he were getting ready to make feet for children's stockings with me, so I cut him loose. Not a spark's chance under the ocean the dreaded Lily Roth's going to wind up swelling like some drowned carcass. Still, nice to work with that bugger one more time, just for old time's sake, you know. That scallywag. I reckon Bestel thinks I'd be the kind of lass who'll bed down with any sort of rascal. Not too far off, I guess. He is rather sweet, but not the most comely of figures. Actually, he kind of reminds me of me grandfather, Wayland Roth, a poet and scoundrel extraordinaire he be. Bestel's but spittle from the mouth of old rot-tooth Roth. Ahem. Bust my blind cheek, said the sailor to the doxy. She sports her dairy treats afar and relishes her moxie. But a fire ship'll sink the broken 'neath the ocean waves. Tip nutmegs a deadly token sends captains to their graves. You have the look of a wayfarer about you. I've a few bits and bobs in the hold that I managed to salvage from Oriath. Might be you're in the market for a little insurance for the road. The sort of nautical charm or a quaff of tonic be providing. Go on, have a look-see. And if you're thinking to trade, I reckon we can come to a fair arrangement. Yeah, I know the Brine King. What pirate doesn't? Drown me fair share of mutineers under the full moon, to keep the old king's slumber when storms threaten, you see. If he's been roused from the depths, it be nothing but ill tidings for those of us with air in our lungs. He'll be getting back to raping and eating us ocean-going folks soon enough, stealing wombs in which to spawn his slithering offspring. Aye, that blasphemy is out there somewhere right now, I'd wager. And to think there still be folks needing transport from Oriath. More commissions to be had. But a lecherous sea god, now, that complicates things. Wayland Roth. Here, let me share something I remember from me granddaddy's stories. No sooner had the others turned in fear from the great white Leviathan did Wayland load the ballista with his final harpoon. And right then he vowed to sea and sky that he, and he alone, would be the one to finally kill this bastard son of the Brine King. The ballista fired and the harpoon smote that creature right between the ribs as it made to dive back under the angry sea. Thick clouds of blood bloomed beneath the waves, roses flowering in the black water, and impossible though it seemed, the already shadowed ocean grew darker still. He used the bones of the great beast to reinforce the hull of his ship, the Black Crest. Old Rot-tooth, he's a true legend, a real pirate hero. I can only hope one day me own stories will reach his ears and make him proud of the granddaughter he had to leave behind. You've got the black flag from me grandfather's ship. Ah, the Black Crest were the most formidable ship to ever sail the seas. Yet now it's a hulk of rotted wood and bone, mouldering away in that forsaken graveyard. But why is it there? You don't think that Mervale... Never. I wouldn't even think it. No Roth would ever fall victim to that tentacled sea hag. Wayland must be out there somewhere. Yeah, castaway, that's it. For now, you'll be off to safe passage to the Brine King's Reef, and there ain't no ship going to get you there faster than the Black Crest. So as the only Roth present and accounted for right now, I hereby give you permission to burn that flag and the beacon. Might as well see if there's some truth in that old legend about it resurrecting the wrecks of Roth's past and other less notable vessels. Maybe when this is all done, I'll take the Black Crest for myself and sail out in search of me grandfather. He's too hardy an old barnacle to kill, so he'll be out there, somewhere, The Black Crest. She lives again. And me granddaddy. I still can't believe Mervale did that to him. The bilesome bitch. At least his spirit roams free once again. Wonder if he'll come and visit his favourite granddaughter one more time. Anyways, with the Brine King gone, you've done a fine thing for us seafarers. The waters won't no longer pander to the whim of an overgrown, bloody crustacean. And damn me if I don't feel a stirring in me loins. It's the ocean, calling, like a lust-starved lover. But for now, bugger it all. I'll be sticking about Lion Eye's watch until I get me a new ship. No, don't feel sorry for me. With me womanly wiles as sharp as they are, I'll be having Tarkley help me pass the time. Just you see. Get your soggy arse aboard, before we stick you with a fishing spear. You're questioning me, the great sea mistress Lily Roth, about how she so happened to find you failing at drowning on some god-forsaken fleshy piece of land. Thought it'd be obvious. Grandfather and we came to thank you for our little reunion here you started. Caught wind that you were playing around up here with that dead beast from the locals. So we followed your trail, dreading we'd be finding your body bits strewn all over this god-forsaken mountain. But lo and behold, what do we get? Our favourite exile twiddling their thumbs. Your lucky old Whalem's still got some thaumaturgical prowess in his bones. How the hell did you end up here anyhow? Well, I suppose you'll be wanting us to ferry you over to Oriath. Take care of that nasty cannibal god Catava once and for all? Well, we'd be glad to oblige. There'll be plenty of treasures in ruined Theopolis just sitting there for the taking, I'm sure. Say the words and we'll set the sails. Ready to go? Just in time as well. Grandad says there's a good thaumaturgical headwind blowing our way. Well, once more, you owe me. For letting you sail around on me ship. But that's okay. I'm the kind of gal who can play the long game. Sometime in the future I'll be in need of your services once more. You can pay me back then. All right, come on, you got a job to do. Lives to save, gods to kill. Better get to it. That Bannon's a real siren if you ask me. Even after the beating he's taken. Bulging muscles, pretty yellow hair. I'd be willing to bet the barrel of his piece is longer than a ship's mast as well, if you be understanding me drift. It's a shame, in all honesty, that he's one of them foolish holy men. Though even that ain't so bad. Lily Roth loves herself a challenge. Oh, Bannon, I'd stake my bets on being a mighty fine demon in the sack. Can't go wrong with a man in uniform. Only now, he's gone and transformed into that pesky god of light. I gotta believe that the man is still in there somewhere, but finding my way into his bedsheets at this stage is proving more difficult than I first thought. Don't seem to be anything that'll budge him from wherever he's hiding. Not even an enrapturing roll in the hay with this future pirate queen. Seems to me that by letting old innocence take him over completely, it's like a leech sucking the life right out of him. He's gonna lose out on all them lusty joys of this world, and that ain't something I'd ever think fondly about. Not much I can say about that raving monster. While he still breathes, it fares ill for all of us. There ain't no amount of ocean we can put between us and him that Catava won't see as simply an extra jug of wine in his cup. Now that the Brine King is nothing but crab meat, his sunken domain, the ancient city of Soartha, is ripe for the plundering. Me granddaddy once dedicated a good portion of his sailing life trying to hunt down the location of that monolithic city. Then, while he were otherwise indisposed, yours truly tried to follow in his gnarled footsteps, track down the teardrop, a pearl as big as your head, carved with the clues to the city's subaquatic location. I was this close to completing me grandfather's legacy when those damn Templar privateers raided me ship and took off with the teardrop, threw it in their reliquary here in Theopolis. As it were, now's the perfect time to retrieve that dazzling pearl. Think you can nab it for me? I'll make it worth your while. Maybe tick it off the list of things you owe me. Every cell-dwelling lad or lass knows of Soartha. They call it a city, but more of a slaughterhouse than anything else. Old Salty himself ruled over the place, treating its citizens as morsels from his own personal pantry. Those who weren't devoured outright were picked to try continue his family line. They became fishwives like that pretty young Nessa near ended up being. Well, the Brine King, as you know, was forced into a slumber beneath the ocean, and the city was said to have joined him there as well. A few folk managed to flee from the collapsing coral shards, start new lives for themselves, but I'll be reckoning they left all their valuables behind. Were a long time ago now, but them privateers took the teardrop, threw it in the reliquary, then took yours truly and threw me in those goddamn slave pens. Far as I can tell, they never did work out what the teardrop was for. Lucky me, I suppose. It was tough, but with the help of a few other undesirables, I managed to find me way out of them pens and into the reliquary. Made an attempt to burgle back what was burgled from me. Boy, did we sure underestimate the size of them guards the Templars had on the place. Only I managed to escape unscathed. Me accomplices weren't to be so lucky. They ended up in Ray-classed, much like yourself. Fact, I believe you may have crossed paths. Creighton? Elira? Oak? Exile, you're a giant among men. You got no idea how long I have yearned to have this beauty once more in me hands. The teardrop is surprisingly still in pretty good condition. Not too typical of the baubles them Templars like to steal. We'll stick around a while longer, but once things settle down, my grandfather and I will be setting sail with Sir Arthur firm in our sights. While you be skulking about, I've managed to do a bit of hunting on my own. Got a hole full of baubles and trinkets here, which I managed to, procure. Take a look. You might find something particularly naughty to help you on your life's voyage.